going on, fellas? I got a request video from a viewer wanting me to do the rust test on a couple of metal plates on this new CLP, the new Seal 1 I got. So I agreed to it, and I figure what the heck, we'll give this one a shot too. I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to protect against rust also. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this a little bit different. I did this a while back in a video on a different product, and I got a few comments stating that there was no way that that could have been salt water that I sprayed on it. So I'm going to do a scientific test. And what we have here, if you're a saltwater aquarium enthusiast, you know exactly what this is. This is a hydrometer. It measures specific gravity, or basically the salinity of the water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this water into here, and I'm going to show you the reading just to prove to a couple people out there that I am using salt water. And like I stated before in my other video, I'll tell you the same thing. I have no ties to Seal 1 whatsoever. I'm just doing this for a viewer who wants to see how this is going to protect against the rust. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean these off first, make sure that there's no oil left over from the factory when it was cut. And I'm going to give you some close-ups to show you what it looks like. And I'll send some photos at the end of the video of befores and afters. I'm going to treat this plate here, and I'm going to use this as my control. This is going to be untreated. And originally I was going to go do something like a head-to-head comparison with some other CLPs, but for right now they just want to see this this particular product, so I don't want to go through all that right now. Maybe in future videos I might, if I get a little bored, I guess. So that'll be the untreated one. We're going to spray them. I'm going to apply the Seal 1 to this panel. We'll spray them both with the salt water, let them sit for 24 to 48 hours, and we'll see what the results are. So hang on, I'm going to get set up, and we'll be back right with you. Okay, have some rubbing alcohol. Just going to put a little bit on a rag. And I'm going to wipe both plates down. Probably see my arm and nothing else, sorry. Just going to wipe it off, let it dry a little quicker. And the rubbing alcohol doesn't take long. So now the instructions on the Seal 1 state to heat the metal before applying the Seal 1. So that's what I'm going to do really quick. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the Seal 1 paste. This also comes in a liquid, but I'm going to use the paste, and we're going to apply a liberal amount to start. Goes on pretty smooth. It's non-toxic, biodegradable, so you don't have to wear gloves. You can apply this with a brush too if you want, or a rag. I just find that my fingers work pretty much the best. I want to get the outside edges so they don't rust. Real quick. Okay. Just hold this up so hopefully you can see it. So the Seal 1. For non-believers, I'm going to shake this salt water up. And again, what I'm using is synthetic salt for saltwater aquariums, actually Coral Life salt. Hopefully I can do this without spilling it all over my table. Okay, so as you can see, I am at 1.028, and now that's a little bit stronger than you would want it for an aquarium. To kind of mimic the ocean is like the high would be 1.023, and I'm at 1.028. I don't know if the camera will pick that up or not. So for you non-believers, this is actual salt water. So let me put this back on. Now we're going to give them both spray. Seal 1, unprotected. And that's it. We're going to let these sit for about 24 to 48 hours. And we'll see how Seal 1 does in the protecting the metal against rust. I'll give you a few close-ups here. That's a Seal 1 beating up really good, which I expected it would. And this is the non-treated, which doesn't have any beating at all, and I didn't expect it would. So within the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll be back with the results. Okay, we have our results. It's been 24 hours. I applied the Seal 1 to this panel. This one was untreated. And before I wipe the Seal 1 off, I'll just give you some close-ups. I think it did pretty darn good. There's really not one speck of rust on there at all. And I did spray it with salt water. You saw me do that. Compared to the non-treated, that's pretty chunky. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to wipe off the Seal 1. Let's see what we have. And as I wipe it off, it's now I degreased these panels before I did this test, so that's a great test for Seal 1 as far as a cleaner too. Great, excellent cleaner also. So I think the results are in, guys. I would say Seal 1 is a great CLP to fight against rust. 24 hours with salt water applied to this panel and not one bit of rust. I think it's a winner. I want to thank the viewer for asking me to do this rust test on here. I mean, you know, I think this is way more abuse than our guns. Like I've said in previous videos, I don't think our guns will ever see this kind of abuse, but I know that with this Seal 1 I could shoot it, clean it, give it a good coating of the Seal 1, put it in the safe for a couple of years, and I wouldn't have to touch it again because it's definitely not going to rust.